After match reaction, Dundee United 2, Rangers 2 at Tannadice tonight. And I think he'll describe that by saying that Rangers probably stole a draw at the end there. What's your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I think we obviously stole a draw. We got a penalty in the last seconds of the game. Disappointed, man, because the energy levels were there. I felt like compared to what we had seen in the last two games domestically, the energy levels were there. But there's just a clear lack of quality in this team. My goodness, and I'm going to point at this point in the game quite early on in this podcast. It's the chance for Schmitti. I think it was like the 82nd, 3rd, 4th minute, whatever it was, and he is 5 yards away from goal with absolutely no one around him. And does he completely miss the ball? I think he completely misses the ball, and it's like, what on earth are you doing?
I think he touched it, but he put it by the post.
It might have been like the slightest of touches, but I mean, it was embarrassing.
It was
8 million.
It was so bad.
You have your one moment to get a goal, and you completely fluff it.
It was so bad. I'm not a great believer in taking a sub off if they bring him on, but see when they missed that, I genuinely just took him off.
When they were bringing Asgard on, I was saying, fucking hoping take Schmitti back off. He needs
it was dreadful.
He's absolutely dreadful. He's not a footballer in my eyes. There's no chance.
The only thing I'll say about that in defence of the manager with this is you can't coach that for an £8 million striker. You can't coach that.
That's bread and butter.
That's disgraceful.
That's absolutely bread and butter. He has to be scoring that. If he's not scoring those type of chances, he's absolutely useless to us. Get off the pitch. Shouldn't even be in the squad, the matchday squad. Get him to fuck and bring someone else in January.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we had Danilo, Miovski, Schmitti all playing tonight at various points. Danilo and I think Miovski's actually lasted the whole game. So that's a total now of 52 appearances from our strikers across all competitions. A total of 6 goals. It's incredible, and we created chances tonight, as you said, Jay. It looked as if he missed the ball, as you said, Sam. I mean, it's incredible that we have paid £8 million for a guy that can't not even score for 5 yards, but get a shot on target for 5 yards. And this deal is looking more and more suspect as time goes on, because I cannot imagine I'm not a professional footballer, never have been, but even still, I can't begin to imagine how this transfer came about. And God knows what Everton must be thinking. They paid 16 million for the guy.
It's going to haunt us for a long time, this transfer, because who's going to buy him?
That's a loss. And this is going to sound awful, right? I said this 3 months ago, and I stick by it. I think we just. I know it's impossible to do, and you probably couldn't do it. But I don't think we're going to get anywhere with this. With the 75% of this squad, the mentality isn't there, and I think we just have to start again with most of these players. It's horrible to say, and I hate saying it, and I'm so depressed and so upset saying it. But these guys, we're bringing on Diomande with 15 minutes to go, 2-1 down. He's not going to rescue the game for us and turn it into a win.
Asgard's
not going to do that. Schmitti's not going to do that. The players bringing on, the only player that might do it is Finlay Curtis. And
that brings me to the part I was going to mention here, Gordy and Jay. Before the game, I mentioned the fact that I was surprised that Curtis and Cameron are not getting a chance. But if it goes tits up tonight, they'll bring him on at some point. All the subs that were made tonight and the 2 boys still never get into the team. To me, there's something not right there. There's something it doesn't make sense when I seen the dross that came on and the 2 boys are still not getting a chance. They can't be that bad. To me, they're good players. They understand the game, but understand what it means to Rangers to get a result. And we bring on guys, Gordy's right, we brought on guys that don't look like scoring, that don't look like changing a game. Bring on an Asgard, it's just an assay, a substitution. The guy's just not good enough. And there's 2 young boys still have to get a chance. When did we give him a chance? When the season's completely over? Because that's more or less happened anyway now.
I genuinely think after the 2 draws, against teams who should be beaten. A poor performance against Livingston, 2 draws in a row against Falkirk and Dundee United. All 3 of them are bottom 6 clubs.
Dundee United have only won, no won a game in 5, and they should have won the night. Let's be honest, they should have won the night.
They were from large part. I mean, we had, as you said, Jay, a bit more energy, but I think overall Dundee United deserved to win, as you said, Si. And to be honest with you, they will feel absolutely robbed tonight. That's the hardest thing for Rangers support tonight. Go to Dundee United, and we are feeling on top of the world or relieved because we got a draw at Tannadice in the last minute, and it's the Dundee United fans that are heartbroken. I mean,
you saw Jim Goodwin at the end. He was gutted, right? But what will happen is, I was going to say this when I thought it was going to be 2-1, the result. Dundee United will probably be gash at the weekend and go back to their normal form. But that's what happens when you play against Rangers. All these teams will always up their game against us. And the problem that we've got is our players don't expect that, and they don't know how to cope with it. None of them. They don't understand that every time they're playing against these teams, they might not be in form, but they'll be on form when we play them. They're not ready, they're not prepared mentally, and they don't know how to react. And with 88 minutes, Giga is arsing about in the Rangers box, fanning about when we're wanting the ball punted up the park. There's seconds to go. They don't seem to understand it.
I know, but the difference between the two sides today for me was just putting your body on the line. How many times did we try and get a shot off, and there was a Dundee United player putting blocking? But on the other end of the pitch, we're just letting them run through our defence and having a clear shot at goal. It happened in the first half. Giga just backs off, he backs off. And then the second half, he does the exact same thing. He doesn't go out to put a block in and they score from it. You know, we're not putting bodies on the line. It's like we're not trying to stop them from scoring. We're just hoping they're not going to score from giving them a shot.
To me, one of the things that I think, sorry, Gordy, one of the things that I think is the players all look as if they're playing for themselves and not for the team. But the other thing is the first goal. Look at the size of Fernandes, and the challenge that he puts in was powder puff. It was incredible. The size of that boy, and he's running back as if the ball's out the park.
But we concede so many goals like that, where we've got such a high line, but there's no pressure on the ball, so they can pick their pass, pick that ball over the top, and then they got a clear run on goal. How many times has that happened? But when that guy scored, the commentator said that's his 6th goal this season. That guy scored as many goals himself as all of our strikers put together.
Strike force.
Yeah.
Get a bit of women, don't you?
I said to a few friends tonight, see when you watch Dundee's goals today, right? Goals tonight. How many when was the last time we scored goals like that?
Aye. No, I agree. Kasama made a few runs and he was unlucky at times, but none of them have got the confidence to shoot at the right time. So by the time they shoot, it's as if they don't want to shoot, they have no option. By the time they shoot, it's too late. I will say that Danilo was unlucky with the overhead kick that hit the bar. 9 times out of 10 that goes in, but you have to make your own luck. And we've spoken about this before, Gordy, last season. You need to find a way to win. It's all right saying you're unlucky. The great players find a way to score, and that's the problem. We don't seem to be able to find a way to score. Great goal in the first half, but it's from a defender, Magoma, young player, and scores a goal like that. Which one of your forward line would put that ball in the net? None of them.
No. But like you say, Si, we've got 98, 99 minutes to win this game of football, you know. But time and time again, the players aren't standing up. The players aren't showing that they care, that they want to win this game of football. I felt like it was still, you know, even though the energy levels were better, it's just a quality, you know, and we need new players in January. But how many new players can we buy realistically? You know, you're looking at the squad, it's like it's not just a case of buying new players. How are we going to get any of these out? You know, how are we going to get the Asgards out? How are we going to get the Shimitis out? Miovski as well, even Miovski, I'm like, there's times in the game where we're looking like we're putting some pressure on, and then he has a bad touch or a bad pass and we lose the ball, and then straight away they're on a counter-attack and you lose all momentum. It happens far too often.
Granted that
aren't good enough.
Granted that Miovski's an attacker, he's a striker, but see the second goal, the challenge that he made, he's lucky he never got I thought it was a booking at least, but he didn't make any attempt to stop their player from scoring. No. Never tried to win the ball. He just tried to take him out, and he almost did take him out. No credit to the boy. He stayed up, put the ball in the back of the net. It's just any team that attacks us with a bit of pace, we're vulnerable. And that's got. So we're talking about buying players in January. It'll be too late. I honestly think it'll be too late by the time they buy players.
It's already too late. We're 10 points. We're 9 points behind.
And then what you're going to get told is we'll build for next season. Well, we've heard that how many years now?
Every season for the past number of years, past few years. We keep getting it wrong. Every time we buy players, then they're not good enough. Not just in terms of quality, but mentally. So I'll be interested to see what we do in January, because I think Andrew Kavanagh, did he fly in to watch this game?
He was there.
He was there today. So, was he thinking watching that game? And what are the discussions going to be after the game with Danny Rule and Andrew Kavanagh and the plans for January? Because they have to be massive, because, I do like Andrew Kavanagh. I feel like he's present and he stands up and he does these interviews, etc. But he needs to make up for the mess that we're currently in, because he's put the money there for us to go and spend, but he's backed the wrong horses. And look at the absolute mess that we're in. He needs to fix this in January. Him alongside the likes of Danny Rowe, and we need to make sure that we're building the backroom team with people that we want in there, not Kevin Delwell's son, etc. Because he's head of the recruitment at the minute. I don't trust for a single minute the players that Robbie Thelwell is going to suggest to Danny Rowe.
Sorry, mate, is he not left now?
Huh?
I'm sure he's left now.
No, he's still there.
He's still there. Robbie Thelwell's still there.
As far as I know, anyway. I could be wrong, but I'm sure he's still there.
Did not come out last week that he'd left?
I think that was
okay.
As far as I know, I could be wrong with that, but the point is, that's a good point. The other point is, we've got the set piece coaching. Doesn't look as if the set pieces are any better, if I'm being honest. And if Tavernier's on the park, Tavernier takes the set piece. So that's still no much progress. In terms of the board, they put a lot of money in the club to make us a mid-table team. And make no mistakes about it, that's what we are, a mid-table team just now. There's a reason why we're that position in the league, because that's how good we are.
But we'll find out now the owners' intentions, what they really want for this football club, because they've put us in a bit of a mess. Well, I say a bit of a mess, a massive hole, which they need to now dig us out of. So we need to see action in January. I don't want it to be one of those Januaries where they're waiting for the right player to become available and only pouncing if the right players there. I want us to spend money in January, because there are going to be the right players out there. There's loads of leagues around the world that are finishing now. You can go to those markets and find those type of players. The Scandinavian leagues or the Australian league and the Chinese, the Japanese, etc. They're all finishing, I think, in December. So surely there are players that we can get from those leagues that I want to see improve this squad, because we cannot go the second half of the season with the majority of players that we've got now. We can't. I think we will even miss out on European football at this rate, the way we're going. And it's only going to get tougher and tougher for these players, because the more times we drop points, the more games that we perform, like we have done at the weekend against Falkirk, the more the pressure is going to be on them, and they're just going to crumble.
And if you rewind it back a wee bit as well, the game at Easter Road, Butland's saving the last seconds of the game got us the points for that night. So we've carried a wee bit of luck as well. Wales been utterly shit, to be frank.
And Livingston at home last week. Livingston should have got a
penalty, yeah.
That's right. So we've carried a wee bit of luck. And these players don't seem to be reacting to the fact that none of them seem to be getting any better. Maybe that's a better description. They don't seem to be getting any faster at times when we should be bombing it. We should be like proper sweat and blood for the club. They just seem to be going through the paces. And back to the Fernandez challenge, or can run back for the first goal. It's almost as if, who cares? That's almost like the attitude. How do you get that out of them? You certainly can't coach that out of them if that's how they're going to perform. So you have to get rid of them. Who's going to take them? The only people who will take them are the clubs. If it's the loan players, whatever the cost is, just get them back. They're no benefit in Rangers. And I genuinely mean this. If we're going to be shit for the rest of the season, I would rather have Cameron and Curtis in the team, at least getting prepared for next season. And at least I would know it's boys that are playing for the jersey. Because what I seen tonight, nobody really filled maybe any hope for the future.
No, I'm exactly the same as you. So I want to see Lyle Cameron play. I want to see Finlay Curtis play. I want to see these boys be given an opportunity, because I feel like they will give their everything for the shirt. Unlike some of the players out there tonight.
I mean, another thing, just before I forget, guys, there's talk about Bailey Rice might be leaving the club now. You know exactly what will happen if he leaves the club. He'll come on to a great career, and everybody will be wondering why we never kept him.
He'll be a superstar. He'll be a superstar somewhere else, and it's just frightening that we'll probably go out and spend millions and millions of pounds on these foreign players. That, let's face it, most of them don't give a shit. Like they don't, and I hate that it's so painful and so distressing to see it. But Simon, you said right at the top of the show something that's been on my mind for weeks, and I've said it a few times myself. I think it's a collection of individuals right now. That's all it is. And these guys are on loan. Are they going to put the bodies in the line and get injured and prevent themselves getting a transfer somewhere else? Of course not. Someone like Asgard, does he really get it at Rangers? I don't know.
He's supposed to, because his grandfather was apparently a Rangers supporter, season ticket holder. So he doesn't play like
before. The other thing as well, guys, and this is just my opinion, I've not got any proof of this whatsoever, but I just find that over the last couple of years with various managers, when the tough gets going, how many of our players seem to get injured for 45 weeks.
It's true. Where did that manager come from? He looked like
it feels to me as if these guys, if you really, really wanted to play, you wouldn't be injured as much or as long. But again, that's only I could be wrong with that, but a lot of muscle injuries and things like that. I just find it a bit strange that that 4 or 5 players all get injured in the Wana, and it's international week, and they all get injured and they're all out for weeks. I don't understand it. I just feel as if there's no togetherness in the team now.
Yeah, there's no cohesion. It's a collection of individuals, and I actually think that I know every week it's getting harder and harder to say this. I grant you, but I do think we've got individually talented players with ability. It's just when they go on that park and go on the Rangers shirt and play for Rangers together as a unit, there's no fluency, there's no cohesion. They're playing within themselves. They're scared to make a mistake. They're passing backwards or sideways. When they're making a run, they're not committing to it. They're not trying to beat men. And again, every week, I hate myself for saying that every week, but if you don't have strikers that score goals, then you don't win anything.
I think we can quite safely say that the 3 strikers they're not going to get any better. We all thought that if you give them I thought if you give the two 90 minutes a night or most of the game, they might come onto a game. Shermiti's never going to make it with Rangers, right? I'm quite comfortable to say that. Shermiti won't make it with Rangers. Danilo looks as if he's past his best. Miovski was probably a bad signing at the time. I thought it was a good signing, but
I did as well. I thought that was our best signing this summer. But it's just not worked. But what do we do in January? For me, I don't see us getting rid of all of the strikers in January. That's just not going to be possible. But the one that we have to get rid of is Shermiti. Just send him out on loan. See if you can find us form elsewhere so we can recoup a little bit of that money back in the summer, because we're not going to get anything in January for him. No chance. Yeah. So we need to try and find his level so we can get a few goals behind him ahead of the summer. Because
so Danny Rose just came into the club at a really hard time. He's finally, you can see him the day when Shermiti missed that chance. You can see him going apeshit. He's finally starting to realise how big a project this is. But he's got to get things right in the next couple of weeks leading up to January, and he's also got to get the players in. Who's helping them with that? I don't know. But what a task he's got. And I think now all that's left is the Scottish Cup.
If that, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's terrible to say. And, Danny Rowe, what you said, the time is a luxury that not many Rangers managers get. And although I don't think he's, at the end of the day, right, if you've got £20 million worth of strikers and you play 3 of them in the one game and they miss for 4 or 5 yards an open goal for 4 yards to get you back in the game, it's like, who the best manager in the world can he fix that? So
no. And the thing is, what I judge a manager on is the energy levels of the team. The players were playing and we're taking instructions from the manager in terms of, not constantly passing the ball backwards. I saw more forward passing today. I saw more energy, more pressing, etc. So they are listening to instructions. But for me, it's just the quality levels. Shermiti missing the ball from 5 yards out. It's just
can't coach up.
What's the guy to do? You know, so for me, but I really worry that we're going to put so much blame on Danny now because there's no one else to blame because the three culprits are gone. And we need to have a good January and we need to stick behind him because he's going to be as frustrated as we are because he's looking at this thinking, how on earth, after the money that we've spent in the summer, have we ended up with a squad, the quality of the squad that we've got now? You know, it's baffling. It's absolutely baffling.
When Shermiti missed that, the first reaction I had when I seen the manager was, "What's German for keek?" It was incredible. If the goalkeeper makes a save, then you can argue then Shermiti's unlucky. He's forced the goalkeeper at a save, but to miss from that closer range is incredible.
It wasn't even like there was so much pace on the ball that, you know, he couldn't get his head there quick enough. It was just such an easy chance. Just put your fucking head through it. Like, I don't understand what he was doing. It's just like, that is literally a striker's bread and butter. If you can't get that right, there is absolutely no hope for you. Honestly, there is no hope.
The only description I could give it would be he's just simply no good enough for that level of football.
Like, I just look at him, I think there's absolutely nothing about this player that gives me any hope for the future with him. He is not the quality required for this football club, and we need to get rid of him ASAP. But it's going to be such a huge ask to get rid of him. But then we just need to find someone to bring in. But what we can't do, we cannot ignore this issue in January. This is a major issue. These strikers aren't getting any better, right? They had service today. Before we're talking about the strikers not getting service, they had service today. It was on a plate for him, 5 yards out, and he completely fluffed it, right? And honestly, it makes my blood boil, right? Especially after he scored his one goal, which really the goalkeeper should have saved at the time, and he's giving it all that. And then he had a chance like that today to bring us level when there's still about 10 minutes to play, and he can't do it. He can't do it. So, you know, all well and good giving to that, mate. But when we need you to score a goal, you can't. And
can you bring Gordy back in?
Yeah, there we are.
I agree with you, but I don't understand where we're going to go for you because any of the Scottish strikers that you might want, they're going to be too dear. It's going to cost too much money. It's quite simple. The Scottish teams, like say, Heart supporters came on there. Shanklin should have been the target in pre-season. They never brought him in at the start of the season.
He scored again tonight.
So Hearts will just want too much money from him now, and you don't blame them. That would just be good management from their point and pathetic management from Rangers, from Stewart and Thelwell. So the Scottish teams, all the kind of Scottish guys that would settle into the league quite quickly, at the club quite quickly, will be quite a lot of money that they're probably more than they're valued at. They have to get somebody that can. They don't have to be great football players. They need to be good goal scorers. I don't have that. But just, I honestly think that we stole a point tonight. I don't think Dundee United deserve to lose the game, and that's happened over the last 6 or 7 weeks. There's been a lot of games where I think Rangers have came out it lucky. We got exactly what we deserved tonight. Well, I was going to say nothing, but we got the point. Obviously, the last kick of the ball, which was a penalty, but there was very little to be encouraged about. Maybe McGowan's goal. That's about it. There's no many signs that would make you encouraged.
No, I know, and that's the worrying part, you know. But what I would like to see moving forward is the front four continue to play together. So Danilo, Miovski, Gassama, and Bajrami, because we need to build some sort of connection in the final third. I don't want us to keep seeing us chopping and changing players in that area of the pitch because there isn't really the quality to come in anyway. You know, other than
as much as I agree with that, let me put a prediction out that one of them will be injured by the weekend. Probably Miovski with a head injury. There'll be one of them will be injured.
I know, and
that's the way I feel. I just feel as if there's always going to be a problem with these guys. They don't have the mentality to play for Rangers.
The problem we've got as well, guys, is that, you know, in 6 months' time, we're not going to have a recognised defender at the club.
Oh, really? We don't have one now.
Aye, but as is an injured, but even more so. So in January, what is it? Because we can't afford a whole new defence and a whole new attack. So what is the priority? What does Danny Rowe do? Because he has to bring in defenders. So we can't. I don't think we can afford. We're not going to be able to sell any strikers. So I think we're stuck with these guys until the end of the season at least. Because
for me, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. We can't afford to get new defenders in, as well as strikers and midfielders, but we can't afford not to because we need them for next season.
Yeah. For me, we need at least 6 players in the summer, and I would split that between the attack and the defence. 3 defenders, 3 attackers. If you can get another right winger, another striker, another left winger, and you can get another left back to give Magoma some cover, and maybe a couple of centre halves. If we keep Max Aarons, he can be a backup to Tav. Then a couple of centre halves maybe in January, or get
that's a lot of players to integrate into the team.
Yeah,
as well.
That's the rebuild again, isn't it? Let's face it, that's what we need to do. And to be honest, it has to be. There has to be by default a whole new back line almost. Maybe 1 or 2 will stay.
Oh no, I agree with it. I'm just saying it's going to be they've got to integrate because that's the next excuse you're going to get. It takes time to build a team.
They're going to have to integrate fast because we've already wasted the first half of the season. We've got no time to waste. Yeah. And we need to get the players in early in January as well to give them time to integrate, especially before things like the Scottish Cup 3rd round in January.
We're going to lose a hell of a lot of money as well. The European revenue is going to be way down this season. The wasting of tens of millions of pounds in transfer fees. It's a terrible situation. I just feel like doom and gloom tonight, but I don't think there'll be a lot of money available to spend. And I think Daniel Rowe's got to use his contacts if he has them and bring in some bargains. And I think that's where we're looking at right now. Because I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot of money to spend. And the financial situation is not going to be great for the next year or two now. So
I definitely think he's got to get rid of the loan players. They've got to get them sent back right away. So that frees up a wee bit of money.
But how much is that going to cost to send them back to cancel a loan? Is there a clause in the loan contract that we can cancel after 6 months? I don't know. Because that's going to be money as well.
Well, for an example, what's the point in keeping Rothwell on?
Well, he's not a loan player though, is he? So
no, but that's an example, right? So the Rothwell's going to be there, right? So see if you can get rid of him completely for the club. Even if it's a free transfer, it's still going to save his money because he's taking a wage every week. Kieran Dowell is taking a wage. There's something like 6 players on loan.
Yeah.
The fans don't really want. Every one of them are taking a wage. It's not just the transfers. They're all taking a wage for the club every week. And they're also taking a jersey if they're in the squad from somebody else that probably wants to be there.
But we now haven't got a director of football to really be planning all of this. Danny Role hasn't got the time to do all of that. So who's actually going to be taking control in January and doing deals with other clubs to get rid of these players? Who's going to be in charge of it?
I think the answer just now would be Fraser Thornton, who I wouldn't think would be qualified for that, but he's the chairman and he's took the role on. But I agree with you. They need somebody. They need to be able to identify players, bargain players. However, if you're going to get bargain players that are going to fit in, it needs to be bargain players that are fit to play. Not going to be fit in a couple of months. They're fit to play right away. Will they get that? I'm not really confident they will. I think they'll need to wait this summer to get a proper transfer window done.
But we're still stuck with getting rid of players, and I feel like until we get rid of players, we can't really bring players in because then you're stuck
and that's the legacy of Patrick Stewart and Thelwell. That's the damage they've done.
But it's also sacking them as well. Well, Patrick Stewart, I think his contract was up anyway at the end of the year, so sacking him wouldn't have cost the club much. But I mean, how much were we paying Kevin Thelwell to do an absolutely abysmal job? And how much is he costing us now? How much did he give his son in a wage?
He'll still be making money on the transfers as well. See the transfers that he get, all the ones he was involved in. You can guarantee it Thelwell will get some kind of cut when they move to another club again, like Shinriti, for example. So that's due diligence wasn't done correctly. Now during that period, bringing in Thelwell, for example, Patrick Stewart was doing an internal review to find out all the things that were wrong with the club. Still no found out, but the review was how much money it cost us.
He was what's wrong with the club,
and he was it turned out he was one of the problems. So we'll get major problems there. It's a lot of work for a manager that's not used to Scottish football as well. to come in and address quite quickly.
A young new manager that's not really. I mean, the only kind of good thing about Danny Rowe is that he was manager of Sheffield Wednesday. They were in a continual crisis. So I mean, it just seems like that's a mirror image of his last club. To be perfectly honest with you, I actually think that unfortunately we're going to have to sacrifice Raskin, sell him, and use the money to bring in new players. It's the only. Let's face it, he's probably the only sellable asset we've got. We've got to hope that he has a good World Cup, and then I think I hate to say it because I think he's a great player, and I think he could be even better if he was in a better players around him. But I do think we're going to have to sacrifice him, and that's going to be the money that Danny Rowe will get to spend in the summer, because I don't see it coming from. I think it won't come from any transfer sales, because who's going to buy our players? And yeah, the owners might put in a little bit of money. However, with the financial fair play rules, etc., as well, I'm not sure how much they can actually put on transfers with their own money. So we need to raise some of the money ourselves. And right now, the only way we're going to do it is by selling a couple of players. And the only player that's even worth any kind of value right now, I think, is Raskin.
Yeah, and now that we
so just on that, Raskin's got another year, an extra year in his contract that we didn't realise about. So business-wise, it's probably a good time to sell him as well.
Yeah, I think if he has a good World Cup, you're talking easy 20 million for him. You know, with his age and his experience and playing for the Belgium national team, and if he actually gets games in the World Cup and performs well, 20 million you could get for Raskin. If you get 20 million for Raskin, that's 5 players on average, 4 million a player, for example, that you can bring in. You know,
I'm not sure we would get that from him, to be fair. I hope you're right with that.
I mean,
and another thing as well, Gordy's mentioned this a few times. I think Cortez is due to come back as well in January, so that'll be another player in the books. Fighting for the wing spot. None of them are good enough wingers that are playing every week, but Cortez is going to come in. What's happened to Matondo? I've tried to remember where he is. He was injured. I thought he was back
training now. He's back.
So training, he's another one taking away just on the squad.
He should be off. He's the same as Dowell. Them two will be off surely in January, hopefully on a permanent. But I know Dowell's out of contract in the summer. I don't know if Matondo is.
And Dibbles one of the, what is it they call it? They've got that group, the internal group.
Yeah, squad leaders.
The leaders group.
Surely not still in that.
Leadership group. He's part of the leadership group. I mean,
so there's a lot.
That is the exact issue. That is one of the exact issues at our club. We've got a guy who's considered a leader, part of the leadership group. He can't even go on the bench. It's a player. I mean. What other club? And he's probably on 20 grand a week. And what other club would this be allowed to happen? Not only is he not playing, I mean, no other club will come in for him, but he's actually considered one of our most influential players. It's crazy. I can't, for the life of me, work out what's happening at the club.
No, I don't think that. He's surely not still part of that group, especially now that Danny Rule has come in. Like, surely he's not been like, you're part of my leadership team, because he's literally not played a single minute under him. You know, so.
There's a lot of there's more questions than answers tonight, that's for sure, guys. I think for a couple of weeks we're still going to be asking these questions. The manager's got a lot to do. Behind the scenes we've got a lot to do. And as you said, we've got a lot of players to try and get ready. And the worse they get, the harder it is to get rid of them. That's the reality. Yeah. Rangers are sitting mid-table for a reason. They're a mid-table team just now.
And there's only one way we can turn this around, and that's January.
Results, right? But they need to get results as well.
Need to get results. I don't trust this team to get results, but you know, our whole season relies on having a good January. If we have money to spend in January, we need to spend it wisely, and the owners need to show that they can learn from their mistakes. Because I'm fine with people making mistakes, but you have to learn from them. You can't keep making the same mistakes time and time again. They've had their screw up now. Now we need to see us going in the right direction. But time will tell. We'll find out in a month's time. I'm hoping as soon as the window opens, we've got a player or two in the first couple of days. They've got players lined up. But
that are fit.
Am I confident? No.
Not confident at all.
Yeah. Is that us, guys, for the night? Anything else?
I think so, mate.
Just looking forward to Saturday. I tell the optimist. We're winning Saturday. We're back in the league. There we go.
We've got no chance.
I'm
literally, I don't care what happens for the rest of the season. I am not coming on and saying at all, at any point in the season, that we're back in the title race. It's not happening. We will continually screw it up. For me, try and just nick the Scottish Cup somehow. Get everyone together in that competition and regroup. Get a load of players out and bring a load of new players in and go from there.
And you can buy Jay's new motivational book on Amazon just now.
There is one thing they could do is at least play for pride. If no pride in the jersey and no pride in the club, at least pride for themselves. Because too many of them just seem to be going through the motions and taking a wage on the park and off the park. And that says a lot about their character.
Yeah. We brought the wrong players in. But I do have a bit of confidence in Danny Rule that he recognises what is wrong with these players and will get players in that do fit the bill. You know, he says the right things in his press conferences when he talks about players not having a mentality, not being quick enough mentally to when they're playing, when they're making passes on the pitch. So I hope that he has identified the players, you know, from the German league, or, you know, he's obviously mates with Hansi Flick. Maybe Hansi Flick can sort of help him out. That can come into the squad and improve us, because we desperately need it. But yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what he says in his press conference, but I don't think he'll be too enamoured with the performance tonight. And again, these players, and a lot of them are the same players, are letting the managers down.
Yep.
It's happened too many times now to keep saying it's the manager's fault. Well, at some point, it's got to be the player's fault. It's got to be.
Correct.
On a positive note, though, I am happy with Bajrami and his attitude and the way he's come back into the team and stepping up in the last second of the game to take the penalty. Great penalty as well, top corner. So props to him for actually having the mentality to get back in this team, even though it's not hard because the rest of them are absolute gash, but to actually come in and probably be our best player over the last couple of games.
No, without a doubt, he's been the best player the last 3 weeks. Yeah. But the barometer's not very high, unfortunately.
No, it's not. No, but, you know, last season he looked poor. Now he looks a lot better. But is it just because everyone else is so much worse around him? But at least at least we've got someone that I feel like if anything is going to happen at the minute, it looks like it's going to be from Bajrami.
Yeah. Well, I think that's us for the night, guys.
Yeah. See you on Saturday. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Yes, and thank you for watching. And it's been a bit of a frustrating night, hasn't it? But onwards and upwards. Killy away on Saturday. Are you confident, boys? I'm not.
Always.
Drink plenty. That's my suggestion for anybody watching the game.
Yeah.
5-0 Rangers.
We'll see what happens, eh? Right. Cheers all. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll help us out massively. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.